Namaste. I am Dr. Aziz Mohammad Khan from Department of Food and Biotechnology, Faculty of Education and Methodology. Today I am going to discuss about the topic microorganism of extreme environments. Uh, from this chain of extreme environment, today we are going to discuss about the what are the extreme environments and what are various types of extreme environment microorganisms which can survive in these extreme environment. So first discuss about the extreme environment. What is extreme environment? So extreme environment means the environment which is not a environment in which any organism can survive. Okay, that is extreme environment. So an extreme environment contains conditions that are hard to survive for most known life forms. Means this is an environment where some life forms like some living organism cannot survive, like they have no capacity to tolerate these conditions which are given in that particular environment. That is extreme environment. Okay, some microorganisms, some living organisms, some botanical plants, some zoological animals, birds, these organisms cannot tolerate any condition. That is extreme environment. Okay. So what are various types of extreme environment? So we discuss about these extreme environment. So what are various types of extreme environment? The first one is alkaline environment. We know that what is alkaline. Alkaline means the environment which have a pH range above 9. That is alkaline environment. So we know that alkaline environment is an environment where some alkaline conditions are found where pH is above 9 or above 8.5. The basic pH which is required for any microorganism to grow is 6 to 8. The basic pH. This is the basic pH range where any kind of microorganism can survive. But the pH range above this is known as the alkaline pH. Okay. Next environment is acidic environment. So what is acidic environment? The environment which has a pH below 5, that is acidic environment. Here it is written as 3. Various books says various types of examples about that. pH range below 5 is known as the acidic environment. And the microorganism cannot survive these acidic conditions. So that is the acidic environment, which is also a type of extreme environment. Next is the extreme cold. Extreme cold. Extreme cold means this is the environment which is dependent on the temperature. Okay, the temperature which is very cooling in nature. The climate is very cool climate. Okay, so in that cold climate, any kind of organism cannot survive. So extreme cold means broadly conceived habitat periodically or consistently below -17 centigrade. That is the extreme cold environment. Okay. So our normal cooling environment is 20 degree, 15 degree, 5 degree. Okay, that is normal cooling environment. So below this cooling environment, the environment is known as the extreme cooling environment. Next is the extreme hot. The hot means we can consider our normal hot conditions as 50 degree. That is our normal hot environment. Normal. It is also extreme hot for the animals, but it is normal hot for the microorganisms. But the temperature excess of 55 degrees centigrade is now known as the extreme hot. Okay. Broadly conceived habitat periodically, which is exceeds 55 degrees centigrade, and the geographical conditions are highly thermal conditions. Okay, for example, the Yellowstone National Park, that is has the extreme hot conditions. Next is the hypersaline conditions. What means uh, any living organism can tolerate some uh, specific concentration of salt conditions, but the conditions where salt concentration is very high, that is known as the hypersaline solution. Okay? So the salt concentration greater than that of seawater is known as the hypersaline solution. So that is 3.5, above 3.5, that is hypersaline solution. Next is the extreme. Next of the extreme environment is the under pressure. Okay, where the normal conditions are under the deep sea. Okay, that is the under pressure. Uh, so where microorganisms cannot tolerate high pressure conditions. Okay, that is the extreme pressure conditions, under pressure conditions. So where extreme pressure conditions are found, we can find the extreme condition pressure in the deep sea. For example, the microorganism living when conditions under 2000 meters is known as the under pressure conditions, and that is also a extreme environment condition. So that uh, aquatic habitats deeper than 2000 meters and enclosed habitats under pressure are known as the under pressure conditions. So, and this is also a condition which is extreme environment conditions. So this condition includes the habitats of ocean and deep lakes. We can say that this is also a non-tolerable conditions, and simple type of microorganisms cannot survive these conditions. Next is the radiation. Radiation, we know that radiation is also a condition where high uh, radioactive waves are spread. So this is the condition where broadly conceived as a habitat exposed to the abnormal high radiation. Okay, when the geographical area is exposed to the high radiation, okay, that is the radiation area, and this condition is also a type of extreme conditions, and the normal right range of light is not found there. We can see the high UV radiation, IR radiation, X-ray radiation, gamma radiation. So these are the conditions which are known as the extreme environmental conditions, and living organisms cannot really tolerate these conditions. They will die, or they will have some conformational changes. Some they will have some morphological changes in their structural organization, morphological organization. So they will die. So this is also a condition of extreme environment. Next is the without water. This is also a condition where water conditions are very less. Okay, so this is the broadly considered as the habitat without free water, whether uh, regular frequency or protracted period of time. This condition include the hot and cold desert environment. So any kind of environment which is desert environment, that is Antarctica is also a cold desert, and Sahara Registan is a hot desert. So these kind of conditions are known as the without water conditions, and these conditions are also considered as the extreme environments for the growth of microorganisms. Next condition is without oxygen. O2. O2 is, oxygen is very important for the growth of uh, very different kinds of living organizations, because most of the life forms are dependent on the oxygens. But some conditions where oxygen is not available so much, so these kind of conditions are known as the anaerobic conditions. Okay, where free oxygen is not available. The habitat without free oxygen is known as the without oxygen conditions. So this condition is found for a longer period of time, not for a single period of time. Okay, the permanent condition where oxygen is not available for a longer period of time, that is known as the without oxygen conditions, or that is anaerobic condition. So only those microorganisms which can tolerate oxygen absence can survive in these kind of conditions. Next, extreme environment is an environment which is altered by the humans. So what is the conditions? As we know that humans have changed very kind of very environments by their experimental conditions, by their business strategies, and by their food, by the for their uh, living standard. So they are altering environment day by day. Okay, for example, they are cutting trees. For example, they are making the water very pollutant. The natural condition of water is being altered by the uh, mm, actions of the human. Okay, so for example, the industries are making some changes in the water. For example, they are relieving some heavy metals into the water. So these heavy metals cannot be tolerated by the group of microorganisms. They cannot tolerate the heavy metals, so they will die. Similarly, they release some chemicals in water, and due to these chemicals, microorganisms cannot survive. They release some solvents like ethanol, methanol, and some other effluents into the water, and due to these conditions, they cannot survive in the water conditions. Uh, Similarly, they interrupt in the mine tailings. Okay, oil impacted habitats and pollution by heavy metals, organic compounds. Okay. Similarly, human are contaminating contaminating soil conditions as well, and because most of the microorganisms live in the soil conditions, and due to these conditions, microorganisms survive in these only their particular environmental conditions, their suitable environmental conditions. But humans are changing these conditions. Uh, for example, they are uh, releasing some effluents of oil contaminated soil. So they are releasing some specific chemicals into the soil. So our soil is also contaminated. So they are uh, cutting down trees, and the cellulose conditions, cellulose effluents are releasing in the soil. So these are the conditions which affect the biodiversity as well, they affect the life cycle as well. So these conditions are altered by the humans as well. Okay. In the next lecture, we will discuss some various types of microorganisms. The first one is oligotroph. What is the oligotroph? Oligotroph means the combination is this is the combination of word Greek means few and feeding, means the microorganism which can survive in low feeding conditions, means where the growth conditions are very low. Okay, so the oligotroph are the organism which can live in the environment with low level of nutrients, that is oligotrophic organism. And these oligotrophs are characterized by slow growth rate, they have low metabolism, they have low population, so their growth rate is really very slow. Why it is slow? Because they are not getting any kind of nutrients in that environment. Okay, so in these less nutrient environments, microorganisms really cannot survive, and that if any kind of microorganism is surviving there, so they have very low population rate, they have low growth rate. Okay, so these organisms are known as the oligotrophic in nature. Okay, So what does lab definition say? Lab definition say oligotroph is an organism that is capable of growing in a medium containing 0.2 to 16.8 mg dissolved organic carbon per liter. That is very, very low. Okay. That is really very, very low. It is in mg, it is not in the gram. Okay. It is not in the gram, it is only in the mg. We give these organic carbon concentration in gram to the microorganism per liter, but it is in a milligram. So that is really very low. So this is the condition of oligotrophs. These are the conditions where we cannot find any kind of nutrients here. We can suppose that there are not any kind of nutrition conditions is there. No plants, no any kind of moisture. So these conditions are known as the oligotrophic in nature. So deep oceanic sediments, this is deep oceanic sediments, caves, glacial and polar ice, okay, and deep subsurface soil, aquifers, ocean, water, lease soils. So these conditions are really conditions where low nutrients are found. Or so in natural ecosystem, oligotrophs and eutrophs coexist, and their proportion is dependent on the ability of an individual to dominate in a particular environment. So these organisms exist with each other, and it may be possible that they are dependent on each other for their growth, for their nutrition, for their survival. So this is uh, the example of oligotrophic. Oligotrophic bacterium Sphingomonas is an example of oligotrophic organism which is isolated from the base selection bay, Alaska. Okay, the Cycloclasticus oligotrophicus. This is also another example which is isolated from the base selection bay, shared properties similar to the Sphingomonas. So they have some specific adaptation to the environment, which include the substrate uptake system, which is very different from the normal organism. And the oligotrophs would ideally have large surface area to volume ratio so that they can take up the environment, so they can take up the nutrients very frequently. Okay, high affinity uptake system is also found in the uh, organism, and they have inherent resistance system to the environmental stresses. So these all conditions make them adapted to the olive to the extreme low and low nutrient conditions. So that's all about the extreme environment conditions and the oligotrophic. So in the next lecture, I will discuss some another kind of topic. Thank you very much.